Nevada's bridges have been routinely ranked as some of the nation's best, but there are some older bridges that don't meet current traffic needs. Here's an inside look at how we replace some of these historic bridges.
We are standing in front of the Nordyke Road Bridge. This bridge doesn't meet our current safety standard requirements anymore, so it's going to be replaced with a concrete bridge that'll go over in the exact same area. This little bridge may look quite ordinary, but it actually has a secret underneath that I'll show you in a minute. It was built in 1950. That's the year Dwight D. Eisenhower was president. TV dinners hadn't been invented yet, and the Korean War was just starting. And here in Lyon County, they were a little tight of money, but they had a lot of creativity. And they found a very innovative way to build a cheap and useful bridge. This bridge was built out of 2 railroad flatbed cars. There are only 15 bridges like this in Nevada that NDOT maintains, and this is the second oldest one in the state. 2 of these railroad cars came from railroads that didn't even really run by here. One came from the St. Louis and San Francisco rail yard, which is all the way in California. It was a useful way for people to reuse salvaged materials when they didn't have a lot of money for new construction. And they adapted it and reused it, and it served this section of road for many, many decades.
It is safe to drive on. In a very short time, it would become unsafe. Currently, right now, as part of it, they have to go out and inspect it every 6 months. Construction is probably going to begin in September. As part, we've redesigned the bridge to stay out of the channel. Basically, this bridge, they're just going to use a crane, lift the old flat cars out, put in new abutments, and put the new bridge in.
There's a lot of railroad flatbed cars in the country, but in Nevada, it's pretty unique. We're known for reusing material because we're a state that doesn't have a lot of natural building material other than stone. We don't have a lot of wood in much of the areas, and so people were very resourceful in using other materials to make things that they needed. And if you look up at the bottom, you can see where the markings are still in place when it served as a railroad car. Up here you'll see SLSF, which stands for St. Louis San Francisco Railroad, and then on the other car you'll see one insignia for the Western Pacific Railroad. You can see up there where the wheels were attached to the bottom of the flatbed car. So there's like a chassis, and then the wheels came out the same width as the railroad track that it rode on. You may not know, but NDOT has a whole team of biologists who study our projects to make sure that wildlife in areas like this aren't disturbed by the construction projects. So they'll take precautions to make sure that nesting birds and fish that live in the stream aren't impacted adversely by this project. Some of Nevada's history might not be as flashy or monumental as things that you see in other places of the country, but it's areas like this where it's just very simple, that reflect the everyday life of the people. But the reason we care about it is because this is a unique part of our history, and this physical object has remained through time, and this is our history, and that's why it's important to our communities and our people.